Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. We're back for a boxing news edition. Unfortunately, the prediction that we did last week for Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos was called off due to COVID, case of COVID. So we're going to do a quick news. I think there's been quite a few fights that I've managed to sort of catch up on now. So I'm going to rattle through those and talk through a few news bits. Obviously, there's the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder press conference, which was strange, a little bit lively in the middle. So we'll talk about that. And yeah, just generally chew the fat. How are you doing, Rick?
I'm good. It's funny actually because our prediction video got, well, I say quite a lot of comments for us. And a lot of people, thought we haven't done Kambosos justice. So not like I'm changing my mind, but we'll be interested in that fight because it's been rescheduled, isn't it? Is it 4 weeks away now or something?
Yeah, I think it has, yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting when that comes about.
I know it's one of the interesting things about doing these videos is the fanboys that you get for different fighters and people like come at you. It's almost like it's a personal attack. And I mean, we can obviously just, say it as it is. And, from what we've seen, I think there is a contingent of boxing fans that think that Teofimo Lopez is a little bit overrated but I don't know. There wasn't anything in those comments that kind of swayed my opinion. To be honest, I still kind of stand by what I said. But it was actually making me look forward to the fight a little bit more. To be honest, I was rosy. So yeah, I was disappointed when it was cancelled. But why don't we talk through some of the boxing that we've seen? What did you manage to see over the weekend?
Not a lot. It's with the lowest outputs of output's not the right word, but the lowest amount of boxing I think I've watched.
Yeah.
It's because the Euros are on and they've taken my attention. But I mean, really, this is quite bad. But I didn't even know one of the Charlos was fighting.
Yeah.
I know it was I think it was a mandatory defence, so it wasn't anything that exciting. But I totally forgot about that. I knew Inoue was fighting, and that was actually by sports in the middle of the night, but I wasn't going to get up for it. But they were showing replays in the morning, so I watched that. Because obviously Sky's done the new deal with Top Rank.
Yeah.
And they were advertising it as well, suddenly bigging him up. Which I agree with because he's great, but like he never got a mention hardly ever on Sky. And this is my thing a little bit. Like they only really talk about their ones, and
yeah,
so Inoue's the only one I saw, and I think that was it 3 rounds, and the right was on the wall early doors, and he's just too hard. I mean, he's got everything. I mean, I'm not sure what his chin's like, but usually at that weight, it's not big punches other than himself.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have an absolute solid chin. But he's just got everything else. He's so fast in and out. His array of punches are fantastic. His accuracy is amazing, and his power is amazing.
Yeah.
Feet and hands amazing. Not a slit swinger or anything like that. So
No.
very neat and defense is there. I mean, the accuracy of his body punches. He just, he seems to get on that same rib every time.
Yeah.
Not sure who lives with him really, but he needs to get. He needs to get. I thought he was already unified, and he's not yet, is he?
No, he isn't unified yet. I think it's quite difficult for anybody to unify. I think we've all kind of sort of gathered that. I think he is largely avoided, but I think he's a 4-weight world champion now. He fought for a world championship. He fought for a belt. I think in his 4th fight or something like that. It was very early. And I think that was light fly, and then I think he jumped one to junior bantamweight. So I think it's maybe 3.
I can understand being undisputed hard, but you should be able to get at least another belt. I mean, I don't know who has the other belts in the who they're with, but with someone of his talent, you do, and being at such a low weight, you do be a multiple weight world champion because it's easier to do at the lower weights.
Well, there's I think there is talk of unification next. I think Joel Real Casimiro is one of the other champions, and also Nonito Donaire at the tender age of 36, 37 or whatever he is now. He's world champion again, and they've obviously, I think Nonito Donaire has probably given Inoue the biggest test of his career so far. So I wonder if they'll go in for a rematch. That would be an interesting fight. But I'm with you. I don't see anybody beating him at the moment. I think the only way he gets beaten is when he goes, similar to Lomachenko, goes up through the weight divisions and is sort of undersized. To be honest. So yeah, but yeah, no, I saw that. Really impressed. The other fight I saw, which was fight of the weekend for me. If you haven't seen it, definitely schedule in some time to watch it. I mean, I'm going to spoil it for you a little bit, but I think we should definitely talk about it. Gabe Rosado took on Bektir Melikuziev. So
the cracking knockout.
Yeah.
I saw the knockout. Knockout. Yeah, I saw the knockout.
Yeah. So this Melikuziev is trained by one of the Diaz brothers, Uzbekistan. Strong sort of Olympic background. Everybody seems to be really gassed on him. He's been knocking everybody out. He's got dynamite in both hands. Hits incredibly hard. Like when you can hear the punches and you wince for the other boxer. Like when you hear these punches rattling in. And they tried to pitch him against Sergei Kovalev at the beginning of the year. Maybe they just saw him as a bit of a sitting duck because he does really campaign at super middleweight. But that kind of put him on my radar, really, and I was quite interested to see, what he looks like next. I've seen quite a few of his fights. Awesome puncher, great body puncher. And he was bullying Gabe Rosado. I mean, I've read a couple of the sort of reports on it, and saying, Gabe Rosado dominates, or Gabe Rosado was getting beaten up. Gabe Rosado, he was. It was a knockdown in the first round. I mean, he took a knee, but he took a knee. It was a good strategy on his part to kind of see out the round because, Melikuziev was just bullying him as his namesake. Second round wasn't much difference. He was just boxing him all over the ring, and Gabe Rosado looked very, very uncomfortable. And then in the third round, I think he was getting backed up into the corner again. And he just found this right hand over right hand, found his chin, and he just folded like an accordion. It was very similar to the when Pacquiao got knocked out against Juan Manuel Marquez, when he just got flatlined. I think it was in the fourth round. Very, very similar. Just touched him on the chin, and he just kind of falls forward a little bit like Del Boy in Only Fools and Horses. It was unbelievable. But be interesting to see what they do with that, whether they go back in for a rematch, because Gabe Rosado at 35 years old, 36, was obviously put there as an opponent to try and build up Melikuziev, and it's backfired tremendously.
Is that top rank? Was it PBC?
So Melikuziev, something tells me he's with, I don't know who he's with actually. I think he's got a DAZN contract because he was going to fight Kovalev on DAZN. Because I think Kovalev had DAZN had an option, because if you remember, Kovalev when he fought Canelo, I think he had a 2-fight DAZN sort of contract after that, because the Kovalev Melikuziev was going to be on DAZN. And this was obviously on DAZN as well. So I'm not quite sure who he was with. I wasn't too sure if he might be with Lou DiBella, actually. But anyway. I think they'll almost certainly want to do that rematch to try and right that wrong.
Yeah, I saw the knockout because I just saw something, because I go through a lot of my YouTube, the next morning, like a lot of YouTube boxing. I just saw this thing saying knockout contender of the year. Rosado was it. It only showed like 10 seconds before the punch was thrown, and it was weird because it did look like he was getting backed up a lot.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it before, but it did seem like this other guy looks very confident coming forward, and it just the sound as well of it landing. You hear the sound, don't you? And he just folds.
Yeah. So that was that's a good fight, definitely worth a watch. And Jaime Munguia, who's one of my favourites at the moment. I was really impressed with his performance against Kamil Zarameta. Stops him in the 6th round. I was really impressed with him. I think he's coming on really, really well, Munguia. I think he's 24, 25, and he's nearly had 40 fights. He's 3 or 4 years away from peaking. He's been well matched. It'd be good to see him kind of, step up the levels now. I'd like to see a little bit more head movement from Munguia as well. That is one of the biggest criticisms he's had over the years, is he doesn't have that much head movement, and subsequently he does get tagged a lot. He's easily hit. He's there to be hit, but he looked a little bit more kind of fluid, a bit more kind of boxer ish, and good head movement, good footwork. Showed a little bit more. I mean, he is, for me, got to be one of the hardest punchers in that division outside of Golovkin. Obviously, another a common opponent of Golovkin's as well, and dealt with him in better fashion than Golovkin. So
surely he's not as hard hitting as your man.
Edgar Berlanga, yeah. I mean, the jury's still out on him, isn't it? But we'll see.
Did you catch the Charlo fight?
The which fight?
The Charlo fight?
No, I haven't. That's on the watch list. Moving house and everything. It's been catching. I haven't been able to watch as much boxing, and like you, I've been trying to keep up with the Euros. I've barely seen any of the games, to be honest.
But that was a draw. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's seen as a bit of a disappointing performance, really, from what I can gather.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading as well. But I would like to see it. So I will make some time to watch it.
We've seen the beef between him and Wilder.
Charlo?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. Right, what's going on there?
Just I don't know where it started, and I've got to be careful here because it's a dangerous subject, and also I don't know enough about how it's come about. But it's about race, and I don't know how it started first. But I saw something about Charlo being asked about Wilder's comments, and he said he shouldn't keep bringing race into things. He kind of got beat fair and square, and then I've just seen an interview with Wilder. When he talks like he's in a movie, he's just doing about race, going, how can he say race has got nothing to do with anything? He's only there because people have died for him, and it's a bit intense, really. And it's only something I've just recently seen, and I don't know if it stemmed from one of the Charlos. I was getting confused. One of the Charlos took Mark Breland, didn't he?
Yes, they have. Yeah.
I wonder if it's to do with that.
Yeah, potentially.
PBC, the Colts are usually quite tight. There's not usually many fractions, but interesting. I wonder if they've all lost a bit of because he was there like poster boy. But I wonder if he was the head of the clan. But I wonder if his not only his defeat, but then his bitching and moaning about things has made people lose a bit of respect for him. I don't know.
Well, that's a nice segue onto the news part. What did you make of the Fury Wilder press conference? We haven't really talked about that yet, have we?
Bizarre, intriguing, but also disappointing, I think. Yeah. So bizarre because just Tyson was sat there with no top on. Just felt bizarre. I've never seen that before, and bizarre because Wilder just didn't want to speak, but intriguing because a lot wasn't said. It does leave you intrigued, but then disappointed because there wasn't much back and forth. I think Malik Scott got caught up in stuff that he didn't need to. He got all defensive when Fury started to talk about bursting both their eardrums. But it's strange, really, listening to Tyson. He talks like he's just a guy down the pub being asked the question about who do you think is going to win between. He's just like, I just don't see what he's going to do differently. he's got that. He's got that. He can't do this. He can't do that. So I don't see what's going to be any different. But he's still in the fight. I think I don't know. There's two schools of thought really. When it comes to Wilder on this. Whether he's going to find something and do something different, and he doesn't want to engage in the chatter because he just wants to do things differently this time and not getting the bravado. I tend to lean towards a bit the other side where he couldn't take the fact that he lost. Though I think in his mind he knows there's things to work on, he could have done better. He really believes he was cheated out the fight because it's the only way he can cope with losing, and the only way that he can get confidence. Because if he believed he was really beat up fair and square, I'm not sure he'd get back in the ring. So I get the feeling that he is, and especially after seeing that, he is someone that deeply believes he was done over because knowing that gives him confidence. So all these things were against me. Breland was against me. The ref was against me. Fury cheated. Someone spiked my water. Someone threw in the towel too early. If it wasn't for all those things, I would have won. And those things aren't going to happen this time, so I'm going to win. And I think he's got himself into that mindset to give him confidence. And a part of that is, well, I'm going to keep myself in my own little world and not listen, and I'll engage with Fury because Fury will talk about stuff and it will make me start doubting that. So I get feeling there's a bit of that going on. He wants to stay in his little world, and Malik Scott's just going to be like, "Yeah, man, he did all that to you, and you'll get him back, and we'll do this," And that just kept him in his little world. It was like almost a metaphor or a physical thing for what's going on in his head. I just want to stay in my little world. But I think it's a different.
Yeah, it is a bit strange. He's set up, his camp in his own house, and he's training at home, and he's training in his back garden. He's got his ring in his back garden. He has kind of built this kind of Deontay Wilder world. And who knows? I mean, maybe he pulls off a masterstroke, and Malik Scott is then hailed a genius. I just don't see it. I do not see it.
I can't see anything being a masterstroke. I can see him winning because he's got a massive punch and that can still land. But I can't see any way he outboxes Fury.
No.
And I can't see any way so the only way he can win is by a punch. And I'm not saying a lucky punch, but that would be a masterstroke. That would be that could have in the second fight. So a masterstroke would be more, he finds a way of taking Fury's, coming forward, and he can suddenly fight, and he can suddenly feint himself that makes Fury hesitate going forward, and he doesn't telegraph his right hand. He starts throwing jabs to the body, and can't see it.
No.
It's not. I'm not saying I can't see him winning. Heavily favour Fury, but I can see him winning. Can't see him doing something different.
No.
And I think he's the kind of so ego-driven. I don't think he can go into a fight thinking that he could lose. So he has to create this story that all this happened to him just so he stays sane and can go ahead with the fight. But if he gets I don't know where he goes. He might, if he's doing that, if he's in that kind of world, he may well retire. Which will be a shame, because even if he gets beat, I'd still like to see him against White and all those. But if he gets beat, I don't know how he can even trick himself into. I hope he doesn't falling weird stuff's gone on again, because he'll just lose all respect from the boxing world. Little he's got left. But at the same time, I can't see him getting beat fair and square. I got beat fair and square, and being the same guy. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought it was very strange and almost a shame in a way, because you want them to sell the fight, and then obviously you had Bob Arum, spouting his usual nonsense, saying this fight's doing amazing, we're selling so many tickets, going to be, and I'm like, it's a fight that nobody wants, really. Been talking about one fight for 6 months, and then we're ending up with this almost like a dead rubber.
Yeah, it was. I don't know though. I will be getting excited come fight. I'd be interested to see if Wilder carries this on, in the press conference before and the weigh-in and all that. I imagine he will. Now he's done this, but Yeah, I mean, Bob Aaron might as well just, picked up book 101 about what to say as a promoter. It's selling very well. We've sold loads of tickets, and
Yeah. All right, let's get through some news. Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam. Thoughts?
I think I was pleasantly surprised, only because I was expecting some crap. So when I look, not like a lot of things about expectation, not just boxing in life. It is about expectation. I think when I look at Fight Camp, and I know I inflated Fight Camp quite a lot, but it was on the back of getting quite excited about it.
Yeah,
because last time was quite good, and you got this problem was going to be so much better, and DAZN money. So when the card came through, not like it's terrible. It's a standard, probably Saturday night fight night, but it was the I was expecting better, and I think with Joyce because the fight actually that's on the 24th as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I believe it's on the undercard.
No, it's
not
in
undercard,
England.
but it's in England, but it's almost kind of like it's the main event for a Saturday night fight night that will feed into the pay-per-view.
We'll have to watch it when that ends, have a kip and get up for the thing. But having said that, the undercard's starting to look good for the Wilder fight.
Who's on there now so far?
I can't. We'll have to do it. I can't remember now. We'll have to do a nearer the time thing. But I think you've got quite a lot of heavyweights on there.
Okay. Is it? What's that? The name of the prospects, the hot prospects? Is it Jared Anderson? Is he on?
Yeah, and the guy from Canelo's gym who says he's 28 but probably like 48.
Yeah. Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, and then there's another one I think, and then I don't know what's happened with Charles Martin, but he's with PBC, so I was expecting to see him having a run out. Maybe still. So
the PBC guys are very inactive, aren't they? That's what I've noticed. They have like one fight a year.
But yeah, so I was, because I knew it was going to. I think we already knew the day it was going to be on the 24th. I remember thinking, well, it won't be anyone of any note. So I'm kind of I was half pleased to see Takam because it's like, I think Takam's had better days.
No shit.
But he's had a few wins since the who did he get beat off last?
Chisora.
I think he's had 3 or 4 wins since then. No one of any note. I think I knew one of them.
He's 40 years old now, Carlos Takam.
Yeah. So I just think he's a come forward fighter as well. So you know what I mean. He'll make things exciting. His engine may not be what it was, but he'll try and put it on him. So it's another good test for Joyce. So I'm not disappointed with it. I'd have much preferred to see the Usyk fight with him, but because my expectations were low, I'm actually quite happy with that.
Yeah, I just wonder if Joe. I know we're going to divert a little bit here, but if Joe Joyce's career would have looked a little bit more different if it had gone with Matchroom, with all the heavyweights that they have, would he have had kind of a slightly better looking resume? Would he have maybe been fast tracked into a kind of a final eliminator at this point? Had he gone down the Matchroom route rather than with BT? It's a bit of a strange decision, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him. I still got this feeling Joyce will end up fighting Chisora at some stage.
Because look at Daniel Dubois. He's now in pole position for a shot at the WBA regular title, and Joe Joyce has got to look at that and think, "Well, I've beaten Daniel Dubois. I stopped him. Why is he still, the poster boy of BT? And is he still getting? I don't want to say preferential treatment, but Daniel Dubois, you'd have to say, is in a stronger position for a world title fight as it stands at the moment. Even if Joyce beats Takam, and we fully expect him to, Dubois is probably further along in the pecking order for a world title shot. Odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I think we've talked a lot there. I think it's a good half an hour. Is there any other news that we've missed?
I don't know, but I think the video is long enough, isn't it? I think we've covered the main stuff.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's do another catch up on Sunday. there isn't that many fights coming up. Obviously, Gervonta Davis is taking on Barrios, I think, this weekend. And then we've got the BT card coming up, I think on the 10th of July. Tim Zhu is fighting Zerameta. I'll be watching that. That's on Wednesday, I think the 7th of July. Another fight announced is Gilberto Ramirez, light heavyweight, is fighting Sullivan Barrera, which I think is going to be a really good fight. I think that's the first fight, and Golden Boy as well. So that'll be another one that I'll be looking out for. So yeah, hopefully we'll get back onto the regular schedule Sunday and maybe do a midweek one as well. But yeah, thanks to everybody for listening. If you like the channel, please show your support. Please like and subscribe.